I think in any success, first of all, we need to first identify the key stakeholders for successful implementation and bring those stakeholders to the table. And they may be diverse voices because in an area, not only the educators, but the business people, because guess what? When these little ones grow up, we want them to be successful in the workforce, right? So bringing those voices to the table, and so we build the community awareness of what positive behavior supports are all about, and what can we do as a community to help wrap our arms around this. So I think that's number one key in that, and then also identifying gaps as a community. What are the gaps? I mean, you don't want to skip over what's working well, because we want to model after what is working well as far as some kind of a format or template to follow if it's successful. But if we all understand the gaps and have the same mission, then it's a beautiful day, because then you don't have to go out and knock on doors. The people are already there.
And I'll piggyback on that with tapping into collaborations that are already established, and collaborations that have been long-term. For us, our Early Childhood Forum, that's been around since 1996, is an automatic group that we go to with our needs and to help really plan that mission and say, these are the things that we need, these are the things we have. And then the members of that collaboration go back to their collaborations, and then your team just grows from there. So really tapping into the resources that you have before reaching for the stars to bring more people in.
And it's really following the bottom of the pyramid. It is building those positive relationships from the get-go, that off of that, everything is a springboard then. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the major challenges would be the impact of our budget from our state, because the budget has been a mess in Illinois, which causes a lot of change in programming, staff, access to professional development, and that kind of, impact from the financial standpoint. So the challenge was, where is this money going to come from, and what are we going to do with it, and who are we going to look to help us?
I think one of the biggest challenges is implementation with integrity. And we have quite an extensive training opportunity in Central Illinois, following evidence-based practices for PBIS. And it truly comes down to what is happening with that adult-child interaction, child-child interaction, and how are we responding to those challenging behaviors, or setting up an environment for prevention? And what does that look like, sound like, when we're really following authentic practices?
Well, I think the biggest reward is in the staff that are working with those children and families, when they finally have an answer to a need that they've been having for so long. Here I'm seeing these behaviors. What's the matter with this kid? Well, really being able to internalize that, self-assess, go through these trainings, and then realize, wait, I can do this. This is what I can do. And then seeing them have that success, and then that success grows to more success, and then they share that message. So really putting it back into the hands of the teachers, because they're the front line.
In our scenario, working mostly with professional development, I call it the oxygen mask moment, when our participants realize that it's their own response in a situation, and just coming that 160 or 180 degree. And first of all, they come into our professional development, help me fix the child. And when they walk out, they're in tears of humility, saying, you know what? Learning these strategies has helped me realize it's my response to the behavior, or what I need to do to set up an effective learning environment that's conducive to positive behavior. And that's a beautiful day, because when we can realize that, you know what, we can do something about it, and it's how we respond. So maybe it's the teacher, and that's why I call it the oxygen mask moment, because when we're on the airplane, what do we have to do as the adult? We have to get our own oxygen first before we can help someone else. And that's been the greatest joy to see that. And it's a whole self-reflection. And then I know that teacher owns it and will implement it.
You don't know till you ask, and somebody's going to tell you no, thank you, I'm not interested, go about your business. But don't give up on those people, because there'll be people that you'll come back to when you have a couple more friends at the table, and just keep looking, just keep asking, just keep reaching out, and not being afraid to hear the answer no, because you might hear no 10 times, but then you finally get that one yes, and that person is going to open the door to all those other collaborations and ideas. And
yes, I would say follow your heart. Just follow your heart and your instincts, and collaboration is a beautiful thing, as evidenced with this wonderful person right here. We are so blessed in our community to have others with same mission, same vision, same goals, and really working together, we can move mountains, and that's a beautiful thing. That we cannot do anything alone, that it truly does take a village, and we are blessed to have others with that same mission and passion, and just wanting to make the lives of others the best they can be, because everyone deserves a champion in their lives.
That's true. Erin, any parting
I
advice?
think that just keeping those kids in mind, it's all about the kids.
Yes.
What are we going to do for these kids so that they can grow up and be successful adults?
Yes.
And how are we going to help them cope? Because life is getting tough, especially younger and younger and younger. So really just keeping those kids in our hearts and what's best for them.